Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and this week is going to be another busy week. Of course, things are starting to get pretty intense with the Kickstarter getting closer and closer by the day. Just 2 and a bit months away now, so that's pretty scary. So obviously this week I'm going to be doing lots of preparations for that, but I've also still got a lot to do in the code. I want to do the effect editing stuff over the next couple of weeks, and I've also got a tutorial to do before Saturday, so plenty to do. I'm going to get to work now, and I will show you what I'm doing later in the day. So this morning I've been working on adding support for visual effects into the attack system, and as you can see I'm testing that out here with this pretty nice looking beam attack, which is now using the visual effects to show the beam instead of the particle effects which it was using previously. So I'm just going to stop for lunch now, but for the rest of the morning I was working on adding visual effects support into the clothes system, so any piece of armor or weapon can now have a visual effect, and as you can see I'm testing that out here with this staff. This evening I've been working on making the beam attack look a little bit more animated. I've got 2 textures scrolling over each other now, and it fades in and out a bit, so that all looks a bit nicer. And I'm just about to start doing my emails because I've got about 30 new emails to do, so that is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the evening. So it is a very nice Tuesday morning, and today I'm going to be planning the effect editor tool, and then hopefully this afternoon I'll be able to get into the code a bit. So this morning I've just been doing lots of planning for the effect editor tool. Here I've kind of created a layout of all the possibilities that an effect component can have, all the different things that it can have and be. And now I'm working out how I'm going to allow all of these things to be chosen in the effect editor, and I'm just kind of planning out the layout for that now. So I've stopped for lunch now. It's a very nice day outside. I just went for a run, and now I've got my nice salad, so I'm in a good mood. But I'm sure that's all about to change because this afternoon I've got to work on the tutorial, which isn't exactly the most exciting part of my week. So I've just been working on the tutorial this afternoon. It's going to be about projective texturing, texture mapping this week. And I've already done pretty much all I wanted to do today with the tutorial, so it's only 4:30, so I'm going to get back to the effect editor stuff, and I'm going to get into the code a bit. So in the end I decided not to do any more programming on the effect editor tool today, but instead I decided to start kind of planning out the Soccer One website, because obviously I'm going to need a kind of landing page for the Kickstarter, so I've just kind of been messing around and trying to design something there, and I'm still messing around with it, so this is definitely not what it's going to look like, but yeah, that's what I've been doing this afternoon. So it is 10:30 in the evening now, and I'm pretty tired, so I think I'm going to go and get an early night tonight. But this evening I've just been answering emails pretty much all evening. Every time I answer one I seem to get a new one. It's a bit of a struggle at the moment, but I got through most of them, and I'll hopefully be able to catch up and get right up to date tomorrow. So it's 8:30 on Wednesday morning, and today I'm just going to be getting stuck into the code for the new effect editor stuff. So this morning I've just been adding the effect rendering stuff into the engine for the entity editor, and as you can see I've got that working now, so it's able to load up and render effects. So now that I've got that working, now that I've got the rendering working, I need to start adding a panel here which will allow me to edit these effects and change everything about them. So I'm just finishing up this morning. I've just been working on, or I've just started work on the panels, the effect editing panels in the entity editor, and I've hardly done any of that, but I'll be able to do lots this afternoon hopefully. And now I'm just going to go for a run because it's a lovely sunny day, and then I'm going to have some lunch. So this afternoon I've been able to make a pretty good start on the effect editing stuff in the entity editor, and I've set up a panel for that. But more excitingly, the website designs that I was making just yesterday have already become a reality thanks to a very helpful guy called Josh, and already after just one day it is looking pretty good, so that is very exciting. So I'm just finishing off the day now with a bit of modelling, and I'm trying to make a new tree for the game, and also Josh has obviously been hard at work because the website is already looking pretty fantastic. It is Thursday, and today I'm going to get as much of the effect editor stuff in the entity editor done so that I can show it all off in the devlog tomorrow. So I'm just finishing up programming for this morning. I've done quite a lot of work in the entity editor, which I'll show you now. So here I've done the effect overview, and you can change the texture atlas. You can do some settings to do with the timing of the effect. Here you can select any of the components, the effect components, and then you could edit them, duplicate them, or remove them like this. And then down here you can add new components to the effect, and then eventually you'll be able to edit them as well. But I haven't implemented that yet, and that's what I'm going to be doing this afternoon. So it's 5:20, and I've just been doing lots more work on the effect editing in the entity editor. So this edit button now works, so you can now edit effect components, but at the moment there isn't much going on here. All you can do is you can set some stuff to do with the timing. You can choose whether the blending is additive or not, and you can also set the offsets. So I'm just finishing off programming for today, and I've managed to get quite a bit more done with the effect editing stuff. So you can now edit individual components of the effect, and you can already set the drivers for the various variables of the effect. So it is 1:15 in the morning now, and I've been staying up to try and make this new area for the devlog tomorrow. I'm currently making the blend map here, and I have just now put it into the game, this whole new area, and I'm pretty happy with it. It looks pretty exciting with the mountainous terrain. So I think I can now finally go to bed. Good morning everyone, it is Friday morning and I'm just getting started with the devlog video. So I just finished recording the audio for the devlog and editing it together, and now I'm just trying to make some areas look nicer for the devlog video. So I'm just placing a few chickens around in this new woodland area. So the devlog's going pretty well so far. I've done most of it already. There's less to record this week because most of it's just showing off the effect editing stuff in the entity editor. But I am spending a little bit longer this week trying to make everything look that little bit nicer after the comments I got last week. So I'm putting in an extra effort to make sure that the graphics look as good as they possibly can. And I'm just stopping for lunch now, which today is a lovely chicken and bacon wrap. So I'm just finishing off the devlog now. I've only got a couple of bits of footage to film left, so I'm in plenty of time today. And I'm just trying to make this new area look as nice as possible for those last bits of footage. So I'm in the world editor at the moment, adding a load of trees everywhere, and I'm pretty happy with it. It's looking pretty nice. So it's the end of another week of working on the game. Tomorrow, of course, I just have to do the tutorial. But this evening, I'm not done yet, because as you can see from my right-hand screen there, I've got a whole load of emails to do. So I'm going to get on with that now, and then I'm going to get to bed. It is Saturday morning, I've just had my breakfast, and I'm just getting started with the recording of today's tutorial. So I've just finished having lunch, I'm back to working on the tutorial. It's going pretty well so far. I've recorded myself typing all the code, and now I need to record myself speaking over the code and giving all the explanations. So I'm about to do this now. It's not my favourite part because it always takes a long time. I always end up doing like 20 takes because I always mess up somewhere. But I'm about to start doing that now, and hopefully it won't take too long today. So the tutorial is now finished, it's just gone live, so I'm done with that for today. And now I'm just starting work on a new hut that I'm hoping to put into the game. And I've never made a hut or a house of any sort before, so this is going to probably take a while, but hopefully it will end up looking quite nice. So I decided to stay up late today to finish off the house model, and it's now 2:45 in the morning. But I have now pretty much finished it. I'm just finishing off the texturing now, and I am pretty happy with it. So it is 8:30 on Monday morning. It's the start of a new week of programming, and this week I'm going to be finishing off the effect editor stuff in the entity editor, and I also need to create the attack editor tool. So hopefully I'm going to get that done this week. Yesterday I didn't do any filming. I wanted to have a bit more of a restful day, but I did do a few things. I put the new house model into the game, and that's looking pretty nice. I also got up to date with my emails and all my messages and stuff, finally, so that's good. And I also did a few more preparations for the Kickstarter, of course, which I'm having to do all the time now. So yeah, I'm going to get to work now, and I will show you what I'm doing later in the day. So it's been a pretty good morning so far. I've got a lot more done with the effect editing in the entity editor. So I've got the linear driver set up, and you can see it working here on this quad sprite, changing the scale Y value. I've also got all the other settings for quad sprites set up, so you can set all the drivers for quad sprites, and I did the same for cylinder sprites, so you can now change all the drivers for cylinder sprites. So I just finished lunch and I'm just starting work again this afternoon. I already finished this off this morning, the beam settings, so I can do set all the drivers for beam sprites, so that's good. And now I'm going to start working on the texture settings, which is going to be this panel here. Almost finished programming for today, and I've almost finished the effect editing stuff as well. As you can see, I've got most of the texture options in here already, so that's almost done now. Also, I found this picture of a very nice house, and this is definitely something that I'm going to try and make myself. It might be a bit ambitious, I'm not the best modeler ever, but I'm definitely going to give that a go this week, and hopefully by the end of the week I'll have something that vaguely resembles that. Just finishing up for the day now. I'm just about to go to bed, and this evening I've just been doing the usual, answering emails and messages, but I've also been planning the rewards for the Kickstarter. Good morning everyone, it is a very dark and rainy Tuesday morning, and today I'm going to be adding the effect editing stuff into the item editor as well. So it's coming up to lunch now. I've just done a few more things with the effect editing, and now I've got ever so slightly distracted, and I've started making a new terrain area for the game, and this is going to be another kind of mountainous region, and I've tried to make a pathway that's going to kind of go through the valley here, and I think that would look quite nice, and I'm going to try and put that in the game before the end of the week. So right now I'm just creating the blend map to show where all the textures should be rendered. I'm just creating the pathway right now, and I've overlaid a picture of the terrain to help me know where to draw the path and stuff. So this afternoon I'm actually doing some editing for this week's behind the scenes devlog video, the one that you're watching right now, because I know on Saturday I'm going to be visiting my parents to help out with the local summer fair. So I'm not going to be able to do any editing then, so I'm trying to get as much done now as possible. And also, I put that new area into the game, and I did a little bit of texturing. It's nowhere near finished yet, but it's looking pretty nice so far. Just finishing off the day now with a little bit of 3D modelling, and I'm trying to create that crazy house that I found earlier. And it is going pretty well so far, but I think I'm going to finish now for the day and get to bed. It is Wednesday, and today I'm going to be doing what I said I was going to do yesterday, and that is to put the effect editing stuff into the item editor. So this morning I've just been putting the finishing touches to the effect editing stuff before I copy it over to the item editor. So now, for example, when you add a new component, it automatically opens up the editing panel for that. And there were also a couple of other little changes. And now I'm just taking a quick break, and I'm getting on with the tavern model that I'm trying to make this week. So I'm just finishing off for the morning. I'm just about to go for a run, but I added in a new driver to the effect editing stuff, which is this fade driver, which allows you to fade in and out a value. Also, I went back and did a bit more with the model, which is coming along fairly nicely. It doesn't quite look like that yet, but it's getting there slowly. So this afternoon I was trying to move across the effect editing stuff into the item editor, but I was struggling a bit and progress was a bit slow, and I ended up losing a bit of motivation, which does happen sometimes, especially in the afternoon after I've already been working most of the day. And usually when that happens, I find that it's just best to move on to a different topic and to leave it until the next day in the morning when I'm fresh again. So this afternoon I've been doing a bit of work with logos. A friend of mine sent me a whole load of logos to check out, and I've just been playing around with them and editing them, trying to come up with something nice. So I've just spent the whole evening playing around with this logo a bit more, creating different variations of colours and asking people what they think of it, and just trying to get it looking nice, but I can absolutely not decide what colour it should be, or if I should even use this logo at all. So if any of you guys have any suggestions or opinions on it, then please do let me know, because I would love to hear what you guys think about it. It is Thursday, and today, hopefully, I'm finally going to be putting the effect editing stuff into the item editor. So this morning I've been copying across all the effect editing stuff into the item editor, and it's been a bit of a pain because there are so many slight differences in the engine that I use in the item editor because I created the item editor earlier, so it uses an earlier version of the game engine, which is very annoying, and I need to sort that out at some point. Also, I've been doing my daily bit of creating this massive house, and I'm just adding a bit up at the top, which doesn't look great right now, but I think I can sort it out to make it look quite nice. So I'm just having my lunch now. I did manage to get the effect rendering working in the item editor, so now I just need to add the effect editing panel here, and I also did a little bit more work on the nice new house model that I'm making, and that is almost ready for texturing now. It is coming up to 6:30 in the evening now, and I have now managed to get all of the effect editing stuff into the item editor as well, so that's all working now. And I'm also doing a bit of editing for Saturday's devlog video, the behind the scenes devlog video, because as I mentioned earlier, I can't do any editing on Saturday, so I need to get it all done today really, because I've got the devlog to do tomorrow. So it's the end of another day of work, and I think that's going to be it for this video as well, because anything that I video tomorrow I wouldn't have time to edit together, because as I mentioned, I'm off to see my parents tomorrow evening and I'm going to be staying over the weekend, so I won't have any more time to edit this video before Saturday. So I'm going to edit it all this evening, and then I'll put it out on Saturday, of course. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more updates during the week and see what other crazy models I'm trying to create, then do follow me on any of my social media pages. All of the links are in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.